Hey guys, my name is Tunde McDonald, and welcome to my first podcast ever. My group is the Photo Bloggers, and today I'm basically going to give you a walkthrough on editing your photos to make the black and whites just punch so that there's more vibrance to it, there's more life to it. A lot of people just go the traditional route of changing their photos from color to black and white by just going image grayscale in Photoshop and just taking all the color out. But that doesn't give you any options, it doesn't give you any control over what happens, and I'm just going to show you a quick video on what to do to really make your photos come alive in black and white. So just watch with me and enjoy. So here I am going to pull an image that I have from iStock. I downloaded it earlier. And as you can see, it's got some really good details. It's well shot. There's a lot of details and saturation and contrast going around here. The eyes are really nice, and there's very sharp detail in the beard. So what I'm going to do now is just use the traditional way of converting this to grayscale, and we're going to go image, mode, and grayscale. Now, a lot of persons are going to say, hey, yeah, that's a great photo, but what more do I need to do to it? So there is a lot that can be done to it. As you can see, the colors they're okay, but they're kind of washy. They're not very sharp and not very vibrant. So what I'm going to do now is just save this as a copy so that we can get back to it later as a comparison. So we're going to go, and we're just going to call this grayscale. And yep, there we go. So we're going to undo, and the first thing we're going to do is convert this to a smart object. Now in Photoshop, this basically gives you the ability to non-destructively edit your photos. That I can get into another time, but for now just trust me. You're going to right click and you're going to choose convert to smart object, and we've done that. So we're now going to go to the filters menu. From filters, we're going to choose a camera raw filter. Okay, so now this is going to bring up our options for the camera raw filter, and the first thing that we're going to do is convert it to grayscale. Now it's the 1, 2, 3, 4th button over that goes HSL and grayscale, and we're just going to convert to grayscale. Now that pretty much gave us the same image that we had before. So here we are again. Now, like I was saying before, basically, having converted it to grayscale, this is pretty much what we did before by going to image mode grayscale. However, now we're going to play with it a little more, and we're going to be able to see how we have more control over what happens with the image. Now, this time around, we'll notice that in his face there are a lot of reds and oranges. So if we start playing around with these colors here, you'll notice that those images in the black and white area are starting to have an effect. So we want it to get a little darker in those areas to bring up some of the detail there. And we're going to carry the orange down a bit. Okay. Now the shirt, that's a brown, so now it's going to be a little yellow here, so we're going to play with that, get that to pop a little. The green shouldn't affect it too much. Now I want to note or let you guys know that these settings aren't a hard and fast rule to follow, because each image is going to be slightly different, and you're just going to have to play with them a little until you get the desired effect that you want. So it's just to give you an idea of what we're looking for whenever we start playing around with the sliders. If we look here in his eyes, you're going to see there's a little blue there. So I'm sure that if we start playing with the blue here, if you look here on the black and white area, you're going to see a change there. Yeah? So we're going to increase that so it's more lifelike. It's very vivid actually. The purples and the magentas, they're not going to do much because there's not anything there. So I think we're good for now. Now let's move over. We're going to go back to the basic settings. Okay. Now we're going to want to add a little more light overall. So we're going to do exposure, carry that up. The contrast, we want that to be a little more vivid, so we'll carry that up some. The clarity, yeah, I increased that a bit, and I'm gonna go down with the blacks, up with the white midtones, and down with the shadows, and up a little more with the highlights. And yeah, let's pause there for a second. Okay, so now that we've played with the clarity and the exposure and the contrast, we pretty much got the image where we want. You can see that it's a lot more vivid. There's a little bit more punch to the image. So now we're going to play around with the sharpness, and just so that we get a little more detail in there. So we're going to carry the detail up, and we want to raise the amount. Yeah, I wish there was a better word for it, but yeah, that's what we got. So we're going to play with these a bit. If we really blow them out, you'll see a lot more of what's happening. A lot of this is very subtle right now, but let me show you. Yeah, carry that all the way up. That's very dramatic. We don't want it so high, so we're going to carry that about there and go back a little with the detail. Okay, now yeah, we're pretty much done with that. The last thing that we want to do is to add a vignetting effect. Now that's basically giving that kind of dark glow around the edge of the photo. So we're going to go to effect, and we're going to pull the amount again down. You'll notice that you're starting to get that edging coming through. Now we're going to play with the midpoint. That's how close in it gets or how far out it gets. And I'm going to carry it about there, so it's not looking like a floating head. The round mass, pull that back some, and yeah, there about. Okay, now that's pretty much it. I'm thinking, yeah, get a little bit more clarity, and I think we're done there. Okay. Okay. So I think there's only one more thing that I wanted to show you guys where this was concerned. And if you notice here that it's very smooth, and it's really smooth. Now a lot of persons like to get that effect like it's actually a photo, as in a photo, actually taken on 35mm film. And to get that effect, we're just going to go back into our camera raw settings, and we can do that by just double clicking right here on the layers palette, and we're going to go back to effect, and the grain is what we're going to play with. Now if we carry the grain up and we carry the roughness up a bit, you'll start to notice in this area that it's not so smooth anymore, that you now have that look like it's actually taken on a 35mm film. Some people like that, some people don't. I'm one of those that do, so I'm just going to carry it up a bit. And yeah, okay, and I'm done. Okay, now let's compare this to our original image, or the original grayscale that we had. And we're going to just go to open, and we're going to open the grayscale from earlier. Okay, that's that one, and let's just compare the two. And we're going to go 2 up vertical. Okay, and Command 0, put that up. I'll just pop right here for the moment, and select you and Command 0. Okay, now you can see between the two that there's a lot more life. The blacks are blacker, the whites are whiter, his eyes pop, there's a lot more detail in the hair, it's a lot more alive, it's more impactful, there's no more drama going on. He's, I don't know if you could say, a little happier. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this, so I'm going to save this, and get out of the way. I'll just this will be a JPEG. And dramatic black. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and see you guys around.